Now I can ask you questions because now we're recording, Jenny.
All
In
right.
case you didn't notice, we're
Awesome.
recording. Hey, everybody, welcome to the Sustainiacs. I'm Michael Vincent. I am the Sustainiac, and the Sustainiacs, the S in Sustainiacs this week is actually a very good friend, Jennie Malafarina, who is the CEO of Virago Marketing. And I was just asking her, did you actually found it as well? And she said, well, so.
Yeah. Virago Marketing was founded in, gosh, I should know this year that I came in. So I'm going to say it was 2019. It was founded between me and a previous partner. But
Oh, okay.
originally, the company was founded in 2013 by my partner. And then I bought them out in 2019. And it became, it became Virago Marketing when I joined. And then my partner exited. And now it's Virago Marketing.
I gotcha. Okay, cool. All right. So there you go.
Maybe not
You
an
are,
exciting answer, but
well, I mean, it's
the
too
truth.
much to put on your business card, probably.
Yeah, yeah. Don't want
Yeah.
to put all that.
Yeah, no, you probably just want to put like a UR code. If they really wanted to know that story, they could just click on it and learn it, right? I mean, it doesn't sound like a really good marketing blurb. Of course, you're the expert.
No, I don't think it's a good story to tell. I'll just
No,
stick to
it
founded Virago in
doesn't
2019.
doesn't roll off the tongue. It's not like a good jingle. It's not like, Costanza or
Right.
anything like that, right? It's not gonna stick. So, anyways, Jenny, we're gonna talk about all kinds of stuff, but mostly like sustainability and marketing and all that other kind of stuff. But we know now the origins of Virago marketing. Do you have a specialty? Is it trucks like the one you're wearing on your shirt, or
Yeah.
is it is that just to throw us off the trail?
Yeah, I'm just trying to throw you guys off. No, actually, I'm pretty passionate about transportation logistics space. So, my agency only serves the transportation logistics space.
Ooh.
And back when I joined the industry in 2016 at TMW Systems, I was told when trucking stops, the world stops. Like you don't have food, you don't have medicine, you don't have fuel. So,
And you said, get out
passionate
of
about
here.
that. Yeah,
You're
I was
crazy.
like,
You said, baloney.
yeah, well, no, I mean, we kind of saw in COVID, during COVID times, things stopped. You couldn't get your toilet paper. Right? So we
100%.
got
So many
upset.
people never knew. I've been in it for 35 years, right, Jenny? And so uh, I would be able to always tell people, hey, economy's turning. And they're like, how do you know? And I was always right. And they're like, how do you know this? I said, because I'm in trucking, man.
Yeah,
This is the canary in the coal mine, my friend.
we kind
And
of drive
even
everything.
within trucking, there's laggers and there's leading indicator as far as your size and what industry you're in. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean, right
cool.
now, I think the fleets are trying to keep the doors open, right? Like,
Oh yeah, oh yeah, and some of them not very successfully, unfortunately. I mean,
yeah,
it is what it is. One of the good, I don't know if it's a good thing, but kind of a saving grace to that is just that there was so many new authorities during the boom of of the COVID era, right?
right.
Of all that thing, that a lot of that was just these new startups being absorbed back into fleets.
Yeah.
Now there's a lot closing their doors, right? I'm not even going to
Well, I think
say
a
that
lot of people
nobody's
went
hurting or
to
anything like that, but at least there was a percentage that just jumped back into the the big dogs, the enterprise, the
right.
legacy
I
providers,
think a lot of people started their own companies, owner operators, and
right?
then,
Yeah,
like you said, they've now since absorbed back in because it's
yeah.
rough waters out there.
Yeah, because I mean, I would make those arguments with people all the time. They're like, look, capacity has expanded. I said, no, when 5 or 10 or 15 drivers from Night Swift go out and start their own authority, you haven't. There's no change in capacity really.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a change in the
They just
number of
moved.
authorities, but the capacity is really almost exactly the same.
Right. Right. Yeah. They're
I
just kind of
mean,
shuffling around. I mean, we've got the same drivers, but I hope to see, and we've seen more diversity in drivers, but I hope to see the younger generation, actually step up and into the role and into thriving businesses.
yeah.
Um,
So did you get into it because you went to TMW, or was like are you like a fifth generational truck
no,
driver wannabe or what?
no. So I was working at a digital marketing agency and I was headhunted on LinkedIn. So it does happen. And
Yeah.
they asked me to go over there. And at first I was like, yeah, I've only been here for 10 months. Like, I'm not looking for a new job. And they're like, we have insurance. And so they must have knew the magic word because agencies don't typically offer insurance. And I've got three kids. So I was
Ah.
like, I better check this out. Right. So
Yeah.
went over there and then I quickly learned once you're sucked into the agent or industry, you're never leaving. So TMW Systems merged with PeopleNet, 10-4 became Trimble Transportation. I was there through that. Then I went to Transportation Insights, Banyan Technology, before joining Virago Marketing, and we've worked with a slew of companies within this space.
Yes. I know.
So,
I know. I know Lance. I know
yes,
Lance.
Lance from Banyan's one of my favorites. One of my favorites.
He's a good dude. I've done quite a bit of jamming on guitar with bongos and empty bottles of whiskey and that type of stuff. Anyways, we
Mixed
won't get
Irish
into all that
whiskey.
type of stuff. But you're right, and that's what everybody said. Well, it's like a I liken it to a fungus you just can't get rid of. It's like toe fungus, right? It's like you can't get rid of the industry. It just keeps coming back and coming back and coming. And I really think, and it's not, I don't mean it in a negative way. I just mean it's so persistent in your life once you've been in it for any amount of time, really, because it is such a diverse and interesting industry. And when you talk about trucking, people think just trucks moving down the road. It's so much more than that,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yep.
Really cool. I mean, obviously, you're marketing to just the logistics and trucking industry. Well,
Mhm.
how hard is it to say, "Hey, we've got trucks and we'll haul stuff"?
Well, so
It's
I don't
much more complicated
necessarily,
than that,
yeah.
right?
Well, I don't necessarily work with the fleets. I work with the technology providers for the most part, and
Well,
they're
this is what
helping
I'm
them
saying.
optimize so that there's no deadhead, so that they can meet estimated times, so that things are arriving on, you know, not sitting at docks, things like that.
Right.
So
I remember when deadheads were just people I ran into in a concert back in the 70s. It's changed.
definitely has evolved. Yes,
Roadway Express changed my definition in my own mind of what a deadhead was.
quite
It's
a bit.
absolutely crazy. But we're going to talk. So that's really cool that your story getting into it and how you talk about getting sucked into it and you just never really want to leave. It's a
No.
great community, a lot of great people, and incredible innovators. And to your point, you deal more with the tech side of things, which is really the interesting part of what's going on here. And even people, I don't think they realize that even that trailer that's going down the road has got an amazing amount of technology on it, right? For
Oh
the
my
most
gosh,
part.
yeah.
Unless you're looking at one
Got
of those old
trailer
Zeppelins with,
tracking,
yeah,
route optimization, mobile communications. Like they are loaded. They're
they're
ELDs.
loaded, right? I mean, a lot of them have sensors to tell you what the environment is inside, how many times the doors have been open and closed, what the volume is inside. There's even technology that'll tell you how many of this exact type of pallets you could fit in addition to what you already have in there. There's so much going in there, and the aerodynamics and all of that are just on that trailer are amazing, right?
Not to mention all the like visibility, and I mean like actual visibility with cameras lately, like seeing into the trailer, seeing the driver, or protecting the driver and seeing outside the truck. So there's just, I mean, it's just fully loaded.
Yeah, exactly. Like in, I think it was 17 or yeah, probably 2017 or something. I was at TPM out in Los, the Trans Pacific Maritime, right? And so we're talking to the BlackBerry people, right? And I
Hmm.
came back and I say, hey man, we're gonna do maybe some data deal stuff like that, working with BlackBerry, et cetera. And they're like, BlackBerry? Nobody owns a BlackBerry anymore.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, no,
Yeah.
completely different company now. It's not the same
Yes,
thing.
they are. They
They
are
got rid of the
100%.
phones. I think they sold the license to the phones to a South Korean company, I think, or something like that, and then and moved on to actual trailer visibility data, et cetera,
Right.
right?
Yep.
Which
Yep.
is
They
very
sure did.
cool.
There's
Yeah.
a few of them in that space, and there's some new players coming up that I've recently heard about. So it'll be interesting to see kind of how the technology evolves in the next couple years with the cameras like on the highways and stuff for tracking versus tracking from the mobile device or the trailer or the telematics, actually tracking with the cameras on the highways.
So are they tapping into DOT? Is this what they? And you can't give me. I mean, they're in stealth mode, obviously, because
Yeah, they're in stealth mode. Yeah.
yeah. Okay. All right. I got you. So they're not going to go out there and install cameras. They're going to tap into the
No, they're going
system.
to tap into existing
Yeah.
infrastructure. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Because we were doing that at Freight Waves. It was pretty cool to be able to do. It's just a matter of the municipalities keeping up with the maintenance of those because some of them freeze a little bit and some of them there's all that stuff. But you figure it out and you move forward. Very, very cool. We're going to talk about sustainability, though, right? And
Yeah.
sustainability is a huge thing in logistics. And I argue that it always has been. Really, it's just people didn't realize it. I mean, and I'm talking about the new definition of sustainability, right? Because really, sustainability has nothing to do with the environment. We have changed the definition and adopted it to have to do with the environment. The
Right.
sustainability of our environment is really what it is, not just sustainability, right? The environment as we can inhabit it, keeping that sustained, right?
Sustaining it as well as we can. Yes.
As well as we can, which we've not been doing a great job of. But I mean,
No,
that's what we're talking about here. But there's
it's a moving
all
target.
that technology involves sustainability of your supply chain, which means making it very efficient and making sure that it is reliable and resilient and is going to be there, be able to serve your purposes and or grow with you, a living thing. But then there's also the sustainability part of it, which is is
An
it
eco-friendly
sustainably
way.
efficient for the environment, et cetera, emissions, all that other kind of thing. So all those things are really encompassed in there. And you're the first marketing firm and executive that I've had on the Sustainiac show. Although I've talked about this and discussed this subject with other people many times, is that where does marketing fall in
Yeah.
this, right?
Well, I think it's
And I think
important.
yeah. So I'd love to. What is your take on how marketing fits in this? From just what are your thoughts on it? Where does it fit?
So I think marketing for solutions and products has a big play in the ability to actually go sustainable. What I mean by that is when I think about how I shop for solutions, I'm brand loyal first. So I buy Method because I know it's good for my kids, it's good for my pets. And I know when I use heavy chemicals, it gives me a headache. So I try to refrain from that. But Method as an eco friendly solution and family friendly solution is my go to. But when
Yeah.
I go to the shelf and they don't have Method, I'm looking at what's a pretty bottle. So I know I'm a shallow shopper.
Who's got the pretty metallic beads in the stove?
Exactly. Like, what's the latest and greatest? I've never seen this on the shelf
Ooh,
before.
they don't have my feel good one. So let me do the.
Yeah.
I get
And so
it.
I think it's probably
Like your free
reversed. Like,
pass to eat candy because broccoli's out, right?
yeah, there's no broccoli. Darn. I'm kidding.
Rats. Where are the donuts again? Donuts have weed in them, don't they?
Yeah, so I mean, I know I'm a shallow shopper when it comes to that, but I do have brand loyalty first. So I do put that
Yeah.
first. And I think if there was more regulation in the country that would suggest that the people should and the consumers should be more shop in a sustainable way, there'd probably be more effort and prioritization of it. So when I think about like the European countries and how they don't allow you to have red dye 5 or whatever, and they really push around sustainability, I don't think America does it the same way.
No,
Like,
they certainly don't. Now, the craft beer industry grew up around, it started out by mimicking the very, very strict beer laws of Germany, right? I
yeah.
don't know if you remember that, but, I think Budweiser, et cetera, were the first ones to start advertising. We stick to the laws of real beer that Germany says, right?
Oh, well, that's
Oh, yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't want I don't want to pivot on that one and take it somewhere else, but I
No,
but
I'm just
but
saying. I mean, that's
but
that's that's what you're
watch
saying
the
there. It's like these
watch the
purity laws.
message.
Yeah, there's like purity laws. This isn't really beer unless it's this. Now you can expand it into all other kinds of things like you're talking about, right? Like red dye number 5 or anything or PF, like the forever chemicals or
But I
whatever.
think that's a good point to the message because Bud Light was in the news within the last 6 to 12 months with a different message.
That seems right. Now somebody's gonna
So
say
you
that
have
was
to
4 years ago, guys, and we're gonna go, oh crap.
That was not 4 years ago.
No, it wasn't 4 years ago. I
That was not 4
But
years
see,
ago.
this is to me the '80s were like 10 years ago.
Well, so they were in the news 6 to 12 months ago with a different message, which
That's right.
brings my whole point of marketing matters when it comes to solutions and
100%.
communicating their impact on the country, the people, the social impact in general, right? So a lot of people pulled out from Bud Light when they came out with that message. I'm not trying to get into politics, just
No, no,
trying to
no. No,
communicate
but it's a good
message is
point.
so important.
But the point is that people, we're a country of, like, headline. It's headline porn, right? I mean, you here's years and years and years of brand loyalty, and one thing comes out, and it gets dumped into
Yeah,
grease because
it
it's a
doesn't matter
very
that it's
very it's an eye candy type of headline, right? That affects almost nobody who bought the beer, yet poof.
yeah, but like that overwrote the whole message about
Yeah,
supporting the German law.
just like that,
Yeah,
just
so
just like that.
marketing matters.
But and that's the end of the show, folks. No.
There we go.
There you go. Contact Jenny at no, but yeah, no, it 100% does. And when you talk about, so here's one thing that I want you to expand upon a little bit, because when you talk about, if the consumer, right? People fight back and have been a little bit, or not a little bit, a lot over the last 5 to 10 years on recycling and sustainability, because they feel like, or that it's the consumer's fault. It's the consumer who's not recycling. It's the consumer that's not doing this. It's the consumer that's not doing that. When all in all, the industry, et cetera, is giving such missed signals and confusing messaging. I mean, most people don't know what a number two is versus a number one versus a number five, or God forbid you ask them what's a number seven plastic. Even plastics people can't tell you what a number seven plastic is.
Yeah,
That's defined as other, right?
I'm
It's like asking somebody what's break bulk maritime. They go, I don't know, but I know it when I see it.
yeah.
Right?
Well, I'll admit I don't know the numbers, but I do remember going to the recycling plant with my mom when I was a kid, and she'd take the big bag of aluminum cans. Like I do remember that.
Yeah.
But today, I don't feel like that education has passed on. Is there a recycling center around me? Like, do we have
See,
that infrastructure? Yeah, I I don't. And
that's
so
the issue. You don't even know when it is, and then if you do find one, it's only open on Tuesday between 7 and 7:15 a.m.
exactly. Yes. Yeah. So I
Yeah,
mean, it's not made easy, and I think as Americans we like now and we like easy, we like that easy button and it needs to happen right now.
100%. And if it's not on the shelf, you're going to buy the other stuff,
Yep.
which is not you. That's everybody. Because, like you say, so I've looked into this before and I've read the different things. And I used to go, look, you need to change all your packaging and you need to do this because 62% of this generation wants sustainability and 80% of that generation, and even over half of the baby boomers who started all this crap are the one, have, are sustainable and will buy sustainable. But then I've read studies by like MIT, et cetera, where in given the environment, they don't back up the talk.
Well, I think that the manufacturers have their own logistics problems. I think it's expensive to start in a sustainable way, like sourcing different materials. I think it's
Mm,
also difficult to continue to source those same materials that creates inconsistency in production that raises costs. So I don't think logistically we have the infrastructure to have something we can depend on.
100% agree with you. The circular logistics isn't there.
No,
It
no.
isn't there. And that's what I've said this to people, and they, you can't blame logistics. And I'm not blaming logistics when I say this. Logistics was the enabler for the throwaway society because of, as bad as you might want to say our logistics was, as evidenced by COVID. Our logistics and supply chains were pretty darn efficient, right? It allowed for just in time, which wasn't what just in time was made for. It wasn't so that your inventory is nowhere to be found and the slightest little disruption destroys your company. That wasn't the point of just in time, people. And we just bastardized it into that. It enabled us to be able to extract, use, and throw away.
Yeah.
Very efficient, and low cost, and you can just do stuff, right?
Yeah.
And changing that is also the answer. So logistics was the problem and it's the answer. And it's not, logistics didn't cause it. It enabled us to be able to do that type of stuff. And it did its job very, very, very well.
Yeah.
It can do this job as well, as my contention.
I agree with that. I just think you got to have big players step up and make the commitment to being more sustainable and eco-friendly than being more profitable, which is a very hard decision to make because you carry the weight of all your employees, and you got to make payroll, and you want to make money, and you want to have that big house, but you might have to forego that big house to have a more clean environment. And I think people also struggle with, well, as one, what am I actually going to change if everybody doesn't start embracing it? You know what I'm saying? Like, if more
Yeah.
companies are not bringing it on, what impact does one company have? And are people going to buy my solution just because I have a more eco-friendly solution?
Not if it's significantly more expensive.
And that's the other problem. It probably
And,
is.
well, and everybody has a different concept of significantly, of what
Yeah.
significant is, right? It's not the same across the board.
And I think it's the ability to report on it too. So
Well,
can you,
auditable data streams, right?
yeah, can you communicate how much waste you're saving or preventing from going into the landfills? Can you communicate how many pallets you're repurposing? Like, can you actually tell the story of how you're providing a more sustainable way of managing your company,
Yeah,
producing your product?
and even if you hire somebody brilliant, like I know this lady Jennie Malafarina who can make those messages really impactful. Can you then, when somebody calls BS on you, can you prove it? Because
But that's
that's
why we got to have
really
the numbers.
yeah,
And I
that's
think that's
that's
another
that's the
problem.
point.
Yeah. Well, I think that's another challenge with consumers when they purchase sustainable solutions is mistrust.
Yeah, there isn't any trust. There's very little trust, right? I was
Yeah.
just reading a thing on this. There's a certain chocolate company that is new to a lot of people, and I'm not going to say it right now because they're no different than anybody else, really. But they market themselves as being different than everybody else. But when you look at it, every single major chocolate maker belongs to the same organization that is trying to weed out um, uh, child labor. All right, so we're back. Sorry about that glitch. It's me, my fault.
Products don't last forever.
But see, there you go. It's, obsolescence, planned obsolescence. No, but what I was talking about was like, so people don't trust certain things. There's no trust there because there's a chocolate bar that is out, a chocolatier out there now that is touting that they don't use child labor, a cocoa that's sourced from child labor and stuff like this, all this other kind of stuff. If you go and research them, if you know who I'm talking about, you will find that they say they are actively trying to not source from child labor sources of cocoa, right?
Yeah.
The exact same thing that every major chocolate maker makes, like Nestle, who they claim to be better than because of this. It's baloney. They all belong to the exact same organization that's trying to stop it. And in fact, this company will, if you dig into the details, will say they don't know if it's coming from a place.
Oh.
So I mean, and so that's why there's mistrust, right? Is because they say this and they can get away with it, but it's not really what's going on, right?
Right. Well, that
And
was
when
the
people find that out, they go, "Well, everybody's full of it."
same thing with Nike, right? Don't want to brand drop, but I remember when I was a kid and they were talking about there were children in sweatshops making the shoes.
100%. Yeah,
But
sure.
here comes marketing with this really cool message, just do it. All the athletes, all the big athletes that are winning all the races wear Nike, and that just overshadows the fact that the children are over there working in sweatshops making the shoes.
That are probably still there doing it.
Right.
But
Right.
I want to be like Mike.
I want to be like Mike.
Yeah.
So it's okay. I'll turn my head. I don't see this happening. I don't see us destroying the world or mistreating children. I like this product.
Well, and that's part of the problem is that, like you said, what is one consumer going to do? And people justify it in their mind. They're saying, well, everybody else is, and if I stop, then this doesn't matter.
I
So
feel
I
like
can't do anything about it. So I might as well just do nothing about it,
I
right?
feel like all these conversations can lead back to politics in the sense of like that's the whole voting thing, right? Like I'm one person. How does my vote count? And it's like, but when everybody comes together and does it, then one vote becomes hundreds of thousands of votes and it does matter. So when one person purchases products based on sustainable solutions, more people start doing it in droves, then it matters. Then it matters. Then guess what?
Right.
When people do it in mass, we can drive down costs because demand will be high. Or wait,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, demand will be high, so the supply will be low.
Well, and that would drive up. See, here's what is wrong with your equation. Your equation would drive up prices, but you're on the right track, and I know exactly what you're trying to say.
Yeah,
If there's more demand for it, the infrastructure will be built to get more
right.
volume of those raw materials, and therefore the pricing should drop and equalize. Because
Yeah,
right now there's so much, like in the plastics industry, right now there's so much fluctuation. It's because one company can dump a ton of high density polyethylene, which happened last year, and it destroys the market value of all of the recycled HD for a year. And all the recyclers were struggling to stay alive.
yeah,
Okay. And that's just because it's a nascent, really, as long as people have been recycling, it's a pretty new industry, and the volumes just aren't there. If you go out and, like, Procter and Gamble's even said this, we're not going to hit our sustainability goals because we can't source enough plastics to meet those goals.
right.
And that drives up the price of the recycled versus the virgin, which you're going to produce every time you tap a well, which we do all the time. And that's why the issue is there. But if more and more people wanted it, then more and more people would get into the business of recycling, and the infrastructure would
Yep.
be built out.
Yeah.
That's kind of the argument, right? If
So
there's a
maybe
finite supply and demand goes up, prices go through the roof. But there isn't a finite supply. There's an infinite supply. The number one plastic we're recycling right now is PET bottles, and we recycle about 28% of them. But only about 5% of the 28% that we put in there is actually really recycled. Throwing it in a bin doesn't mean it's recycled. It means it got into a recycling bin. That's all it means.
well, I think,
Right?
not only that, so a couple things. First, when you put your goods at your home in the recycling bin, I think there's mistrust as to whether they actually go to the recycling facility and
100%,
get
and
recycled.
that's legitimate. It's legitimate mistrust in
Many
many
areas,
cases.
many
Yeah,
areas. Like if
absolutely.
even if I do the things the world needs me to do, doesn't matter. The other thing I would say is I was talking to a colleague before I got on this call, and I was like, "Hey, I'm about to get on and talk about sustainable marketing. Do you buy products based on sustainability?" And she's like, "Well, actually, I just bought water bottles in aluminum cans." I was like, "Oh, I've never like even heard of this. Was that like an
Yeah,
awareness thing? Like, did you learn about it?" And you were like, "Oh, okay, this is a decision that I want to make. Instead of buying plastic water bottles, buy aluminum can water." And she's like, "Well, actually, it's Jason Momoa's company and he was on TikTok." I was like, "All right, well, maybe we need to leverage celebrities, pull their influence. I mean, they
a
do it
hundred
in so
percent.
many
We
other
should.
areas."
We no, absolutely we should. I mean, we have celebrity influencers that influence. I mean, they influence us into all kinds of stupid decisions in many cases, but they also can influence for very very good
Yes,
as well. And
yes,
some people will go, well, they're just making money. Well, that's the whole point. If we can make money by being sustainable, now we've got something, right?
right, right.
And I know people are kind of okay. This is a really good conversation, but where does marketing come in? Okay, is can marketing make those changes? In other words, the reusable cup, Stanley, the Stanley craze,
Well,
right?
here's my Simply Modern. I'm not a Stanley crazer. I'm a Simple Modern.
Here's mine.
Cheers.
But mine says Bears, Beats, and Battlestar Galactica. If you know who that is,
Oh, no, I don't. Who is that?
from The Office, it's Dwight Schrute.
Oh, okay, cool.
There's Dwight, and I've got
Very cool.
his perfect crime story. You know, where he meets Tiffany and steals the chandelier and all that. But
Mine's
the
just
point is this:
mine's shiny.
well, the point is this: is that people have been marketed this and have absorbed it so much that people collect these, and it's like fast fashion, and it's exact opposite of what it was intended to do. It's
Yeah.
like Stanley came out and said, "Hey, ours are great too." Well, guess what, Stanley? Yours is no different than the $10 one that I bought, and neither is Igloo. Sorry, people, the Igloo and the Yeti. Not any better than the $10 store bought ones. They're just not. It's the exact. You can only double wall insulate a cup so many ways. There
Yeah,
isn't a
but do you
magic
think
cooling
people
agent in there or anything.
fashion accessory or sustainable solution? Why are
Well,
people
that's the problem. It's starting to be. It's become a fashion statement, and that kills exactly why it's there, right? Because now you've got some of these companies, Stanley included, that started coming out with Valentine's Day edition.
yeah.
Well, really? So now I got to get rid of my Christmas mug and get the Valentine's one, and next year there'll be a new style Christmas mug. This isn't what it's there for. This is not responsible manufacturing, right?
I agree with that. Like, I mean, how much stuff do we throw away because it's holiday based and it's like you can't bring your Easter cup at Christmas. Like, that's not
Right.
gonna make any sense. So
Well,
then
so how do you change that, right? And let's even step away back from that. I was talking to Tamsin Edifa. She's chief industry officer at Pure Cycle. They're backed by Procter and Gamble. They reprocess polypropylenes and stuff like that. But I asked her, I said, "What about, let's just take lipstick, right? Should there be packaging even down to that level, not the tertiary packaging or secondary packaging, but even the actual product itself, where there are specific laws or rules around what that can be made out of so that you have maximum density or probability of recycling? In other words, the color, shape, and such of this mouse
yeah.
has to be this gray. Not allowed to have white ones. You're not allowed to have red ones. You're not allowed to have yellow ones. Because if they were all this, we could recycle the hell out of them. But the problem is that there's red ones and there's green ones and there's yellow ones and there's purple ones and stuff like that. And people want those different colors. And therefore, this isn't as valuable as it should be for sustainability because you
Well, it's the
can't color
psychology of
this.
marketing, right?
That's what
Like
I'm
the
talking about.
psychology of the colors. It's attractive, it's shiny, it's blue, it caught my attention. It's this brand. Like there's
Right.
so much value in marketing. Again, going back to like Nike and the chocolate, I will look the other way because I want this product.
Or I'll
So the
figure out
fact
some
that
sort of justification. Like I'm just one person. I can't make a difference anyways.
right. Yeah. So I mean, what if like instead of instead of having because it actually really sounds really bland if there's only gray lipsticks and then you pick whatever brand you want and it doesn't matter they have the same material, right, the same
Well, no,
packaging.
I mean the lipsticks could be. You know what? I'm not saying you're putting gray color on your lips.
No, not gray color, but I mean, yeah, like the packaging, it all be like
Everybody's got to be goth from now on.
I hope not.
Everybody,
That's
we're
not gonna
moving
look good
straight
for me.
all heroin chic. All heroin chic. That's where we're going.
Yeah, but like repurpose the packaging and put your product in. So like, you know what I'm saying? Like here's the lipstick, it's all the same, but then you buy the product you want to go in it. And maybe
Yeah.
it's just packaged differently. I have no idea how to package lipstick so that you could like put it into a lipstick holder, but I mean something like that would make sense if I'm buying CoverGirl, Revlon, whatever. Here's CoverGirl, it's their branding, but I can pick and choose the makeup I want to put into the packaging.
Yeah. Now that's interesting. I never thought about that. You may have just discovered a whole new interesting, a whole new industry.
Well, I think that's like you've got to come
Like
up with
ghost packaging. You're
solutions.
like ghost packaging now, and like ghost kitchens. Where Arby's and McDonald's and everything was coming out of one kitchen, right? It's a ghost
Yeah,
kitchen.
yeah.
Now you've got you want Yves Saint Laurent. It's the same bottle as everybody else's, but you packaged
It's
theirs
your
into this
brand.
and sent it.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
I think you got to come up with creative solutions when it comes down to this sort of stuff because people are not going to give up brand loyalty, and they're not going to give up the way they shop, the psychology of marketing and the psychology of the buyer. Like blue is trust, yellow is exciting, um, orange is caution, red is power. Like people make decisions based on the psychology of things. Like red, McDonald's, red, yellow, and white. Right? It's all
Yep.
intended to make you hungry. Those colors together are intended to make you hungry.
Oh,
So, I mean, there's a lot
I
of
thought it was the
psychology
smell of the
behind
French fries.
colors. Well, if you don't even smell the French fries,
Yep. Yeah, I mean that's my cheat is the filet of fish sandwich. It's gross, it's greasy, but I love it. I
I
know.
told
Look
my
at you.
kids, I tell my kids for years that all the McDonald's burned down. They're like,
No,
but
I
there's
haven't had
no
one
like
in
on
probably about
fire.
6 months. I haven't had one in like 6 months, but man, every once in a great while, I just gotta have me some greasy garbage. But
No,
um,
no.
yeah, I do. It's, I mean, every once in a great while, I got to do it. It's just there. Um, but that's interesting. So those colors are there. So can companies utilize marketing to then make their sustainability more profitable by establishing those thoughts and the psychology in people's heads that this is better because it truly is sustainable
Well, I
in
think
some way?
there's
And why wouldn't somebody come out with just this gray packaging, just bland, like generic? Remember generic, like it just you got a white can and just said beer on it, right?
wasn't that in like one of those old animated cartoon shows, not Family Guy, King of the Hill? Didn't they just have
Yes,
like
just
or
beer.
Simpsons or something? There's
Yeah,
just
just beer.
that's because they
Yeah,
weren't putting brands in the shows. So two
yeah.
trains
There
of
wasn't
thought.
product
Tying it
placement
back,
back then.
yeah, tying it back to the logistics space. I think shippers are, they have requirements for sustainability and circularity and things like that. And so they need to choose partners that can help them achieve those KPIs. And
Right.
so they choose to work with fleets that can communicate how they are reducing deadhead. And then they choose to work with partners that are emphasizing circularity and reverse logistics and recycling and repurposing and all those in their messaging because it helps them communicate back to the world. These global entities communicate back to the world how they are reducing their carbon footprint. So from
Yeah.
the B2B space and transportation logistics, definitely see it and does make a difference in terms of purchasing decisions, who they're going to partner with, who they're going to build their operations with. I think that's a huge initiative right now. It was a huge key messaging at Manifest. It's a huge message with any of the companies I work with in the supply chain space that are partnering with shippers because shippers are required to reduce their carbon footprint because they're global for the most part, and they're partnering with companies that can help them do that and communicate and actually prove that, because
Yeah.
you said that earlier, like you have to be able to not only talk the talk but walk the walk.
Yeah, you
So
do. And if you're a transportation company, I'm glad you brought us back to transportation company because I think we explored a lot of ideas there and they're all applicable.
yeah.
But in the transportation industry, right? The one thing I try and argue it, not argue, but try and get in people's mind is that your scope one is somebody's scope three. And scope one isn't more important than scope three. It's just the definition of what it is. So your
Yeah.
customer's scope three is your scope one, and it's incredibly important to them and getting more and more important. And it isn't
Hmm.
because Jenny's out there and she's converting from being a shallow shopper to being a conscious shopper. It's there's more tailwinds to it than that. It's not
Yeah.
just that. It is there are government trade regulations internationally and domestically that are not slowing down, are only going to get more and more intense, and you've got to pay attention to this because if you're
Hmm.
dealing with an international company, they have to report even their domestic scope 3 in order to do business in the EU.
Yep.
So you
Yep.
better be able to communicate that And just because you have that data and after you've picked up the phone, you say, hey, I've got the data, they've got to know that beforehand. Otherwise, they're not going to look, right?
Mhm. Yeah. And to bring it back to the consumer side, you talked about scopes over here. On the consumer side, it's priorities. It's like I saw Goo Gun or Goo Gone on a commercial, and it can get that stain off my wall, and
Yeah.
I'm going to use it. I don't care what chemical it is. It's going to remove that stain. So in that case, it's functionality and trust that it does what it says it's going to do.
Yeah.
Um, Packaging's not pretty. It's just like a trusted product, maybe. I don't know.
Well, and
But
that's well, and you're 100% right. Is like when you start talking about people like Coca Cola and Pepsi and so on. Those type the consumer, the
yeah,
really well known consumer brands, et cetera, and even the ones that aren't so well known. Um, they're all doing their efforts, right?
yeah,
And but many times what people don't realize is that their efforts are kind of hindered a bit because of the demand for the quality that the consumer wants, right? And so they're doing everything they can and still put out that product that has that quality to it. It's not
yeah,
going to fail. um, and let me tell you, I work with a lot of those, and they're working very hard to find those perfect mixes of recycled content in order to reach there. And they're pushing the limits constantly, but they're not going to let their product fail,
right, right.
right? And I don't think anybody's making the argument that consumers should accept a certain amount of failure.
No,
I
nope. We
mean,
want
one bottle in a 12 pack of Coke fails is it's
Well, it's
not
interesting you
acceptable.
bring up Coke and Pepsi because when you think about the commercials you see, it's not about the sustainability initiatives that they have. It's
Right.
always like
And
you
they
gotta,
have massive ones. I mean, Pepsi is one of the biggest sustainability pushers in farming and water. If you don't know, if people don't know that, they're
yeah,
huge in farming and water. Yeah.
but they don't lead with that. They're not marketing based on that. When I
No.
think of a Pepsi commercial, I don't know why the first thing that comes to mind is the Britney Spears commercial when she's drinking Pepsi because they do a lot with different celebrities
Sure.
drinking Pepsi. But you don't ever hear about their sustainability initiatives like you did with, farming and water or the other things that they're doing.
No,
Maybe it
you
doesn't
don't. But if
sound
you go on their corporate website, you'll see it all over the place in there.
yeah,
But yeah, no, you don't see it in their. And they don't lead with that. And I think part of that, I mean, I don't know the 100% the reason, but I know that, like Coca Cola has lost a couple of greenwashing lawsuits that, in my mind, were bogus. It led me to put out some stuff out there saying, listen, greenwashing uh, uh, legislation sometimes is just a witch hunt to try or money grab, and it does more harm than good. When you change Sprite from green bottles to white bottles, so that you can just use a single type of plastic, and then you get sued for doing it, that's ridiculous.
yeah, that doesn't make
You've
sense.
overstated your greenness. We got to get there somehow, people.
Yeah. Well, maybe they need to go as far as communicate. This package is made with 63% like recyclable material, like really big. Like not even care about the brand, but care
Well, I
about
mean, you put it in a UR code too. Like, if you want to know the content of this package, bang, then grab this. If that's not your lead, because it's not the lead in Coca Cola and Pepsi, and they recycle a ton of plastics
right.
and so on. But it's there. But then again, they'll also certain companies, consumer brands, and I watched one executive stand on a stage at a plastics recycling event and say, we know that if we change the printing on these packaging, we could recycle it like crazy. But guess what? We're not. We're not going to, because this is our branding. This is our billboard. This is how we market our,
Yeah.
our stuff.
Yeah.
And that's so we got to find those. We got to find those solutions because both sides demand those things.
Yeah.
In logistics specifically, I see the logistics industry as being more than just becoming, greener itself in the sustainability world, but really becoming a vehicle to allow others to become that. Like you said, the reverse logistics. Now, truckload type of stuff, truckload movements
Mhm.
can do that, but in mass quantities, right?
Yeah.
Um, because you got the deadhead miles, etc. in my opinion, parcel and LTL really have the abilities to become those infrastructures for reverse logistics for recycling.
Well, I think that brings up innovate like Parcel
Why did
has
you
the
do that?
ability to bring
What
new
was this?
innovation.
What was
Well, it
this?
went like that because
Said the evil word LTL. As soon as I said LTL, you're like, ah.
well, it was actually on the parcel because I was
Oh,
thinking
okay.
about all the boxes that are arriving to my house that are going in the garbage can,
Oh, so
and
you're the one. You're the problem.
yeah, I'm the one. No, nobody else, just me. No, but what I'm thinking about is like some of these new initiatives and kind of growth and changes in demographics are driving more innovation. So I think there's some new players in the space with uh, repurposeful packaging that you could then reuse for movement. So instead of getting a new box from Amazon every day, maybe there's a box that goes back and forth. That makes me think of the old milkman tales where the guy used to deliver your milk and you put your bottles back and you take them and clean them and bring you back more milk, but you were reusing them,
Those
right?
aren't just tales. Those actually, it actually
I
happened.
know, but they were tales to me. I wasn't around for that. Well, actually, I think they
It
still
was
do
my
that in some
listen,
places.
my mom's generation. That was my mom's generation.
Yeah,
They used to
yeah,
race home from school to get there on milk day because they would race home to get to scrape the cream off the top of the milk bottle.
yeah. They wanted the green.
They
That's
wanted the
funny.
cream.
I never got to experience that, but I think there's still some places in the country that still do the milk delivery. I know there's one in Colorado,
Well, we don't
but
do that anymore, but we you can have everything else delivered to you. In fact, you can have all of your food pre-made in nice plastic containers and everything, and then we'll burn the hell out of carbon to deliver your lazy butt a bunch of pre-made meals, so that you can make them and every time one of those deliveries, there's like another pound of NOx emissions that are going into your lungs, and you
yeah,
got all this new packaging you get to throw away and into the landfills.
I'm starting to see like I don't know exactly who you're talking about, but I know one, and I'm starting to see their trucks around. And I'm like, oh,
Oh
okay,
yeah.
we got the Amazon trucks, we got the factor trucks, we
Yeah, no,
got
it's brilliant,
all the trucks are going
brilliant.
around now.
Yeah, no, we're not going down the wrong path. That's perfect. But I see no, and that's what I'm talking about. Like in the parcel thing, when you said this box going back and forth, right now, it can't go back empty, okay, because that's bad. You're trying to fill everything both ways, and that's part of the problem with residential delivery is you got to make your money on the one route because it ain't
Yeah,
picking up anything going back. An
yeah.
LTL B2B route, you're trying to deliver and pick up the whole way through that route, right? So you're maximizing that cube at all
But the
times.
whole infrastructure is changing. People
Sure.
aren't going to the stores like they used to. So now we're putting more trucks on the road because it's got to be delivered to your front doorstep, right? And like people don't want to do
But the only
mail.
reason it's got to be is because the company's convinced people that it's got to be.
Well, I mean,
Well, no,
okay,
somebody said, "Hey, we can do this," and then people liked it, so that other people had to do it, right? And now everybody. But if you study and you ask the people, they're like, "No, you can deliver it in 7 days as long as I'm not going to kill 1850
oh,
trees,"
right,
right?
yeah. Like I mean, they still want it, but they want to deliver to their house. But maybe they'll say, okay, less trucks on the road takes
Yeah,
7 days, right?
exactly,
You need
exactly,
that
exactly.
option to
Yeah,
decide, like, do I need this right now or can I wait a week?
right.
Um, and I really think that comes down to people just expecting things now, as well as what was the other thing? Cost. Like it's the same cost. Like there's no incentive to kind of push it back.
Don't you love these commercial interruptions?
Brought to you by
Yeah, the problem is I haven't been able to sell any commercials, but I'm just proving the concept to people that there will be breaks so that they can buy a commercial,
right.
right?
This is where we'd fit you in right now.
That's where we would fit you in right there. That little hiccup there, that could have been your brand. You could be making millions right now.
Absolutely. How many subscribers you've got?
Wow. So we reach about 75,000 people a week.
Yeah. That's a lot of people.
It's not bad.
Totally worth somebody to get a little commercial spot with you.
You would think, but yeah. So we were talking about the people who demanded what in 2 hour delivery and all this other kind
Yeah.
of stuff, and blah blah. But we can argue that all day long. What I'm saying is, within those structures of LTL and parcel, it's moving. What's going to come back? What is it that is coming back? Because that route back is empty. But if you load it up with a bunch of return boxes, it just adds weight and handling of something that has no value, unless it saves on the cost of the packaging to come back the next time enough to cover those expenses, right? There's got to be something in there that's
All
producing
right.
revenue on the way back, right? And the more you get past that last hub or that last mile, the worse that gets. You're certainly not flying a bunch of empty packages back across the country, right?
Well, no, but okay, so here's an idea for Amazon. Many people have bought into subscriptions with them, right?
Yeah,
So think about mailboxes. That was an evolution. We didn't come to, the new world and like set up shop and like, have mailboxes. That's evolved over time because the way
true.
we interact and the way we needed to get communication created that, right?
Yeah.
So now we all have these Amazon subscriptions and we've got this stuff coming. Now people got really, really mad at Christmas time when Amazon delivered Christmas boxes or Christmas packages, presents, not in boxes, right? They just slapped a sticker on it and put that scooter on the front porch for the kid to see when they got home from school. Um,
Yeah.
it might be from a true story. But, anyways, people are doing these subscriptions. Why not have like a section where you have these boxes and you put them, and like these are reusable, collapsible boxes. And when Amazon delivers a package, in the reusable box, they pick up the old ones that are on the porch or whatever, and then they repurpose them, and then they reuse them the next deliveries. Like I just think we are. I mean, whoever is in packaging right now, whoever's making boxes is making a killing. Like we
Well,
just
yeah, no, they definitely are, and they're the ones who are probably either driving or stopping diversification or disruption, and hopefully they're jumping on the board of disrupting themselves, and therefore they can actually grow revenues and profits through disrupting yourself in the right manner, right? That's kind of disrupt or be disrupted. Well, you're going to have to be disrupted, so you might as well do it
yeah
yourself in this
yeah.
and make money doing it, right? So you can be the disruptor instead of the disruptee, I guess is what it would be. But I look at LTL and I see the ability to move a valuable product in two different directions. And there's, especially regionally, because when you start getting into that type of market, it's not just that neighborhood terminal that's delivering to all these businesses that is coming out. When you look at the true cube of the trailer,
Yep.
floor, side to side, front to back, all the way to the ceiling, it's maybe 50% used.
Oh yeah.
Maybe at the
Oh yeah. There's so
absolute
much wasted
top.
space on the
Yeah.
LTL.
At the and I'm talking about at the delivery side and pickup side at the local
Yeah.
terminal. Half, maybe. And worse coming back in many instances. So you could be easily moving, like, within here, the city of Chattanooga or the area of Chattanooga and Cleveland, Tennessee. All these plastics and waste that can be recycled from all these businesses could easily be being brought to a central hub,
Yeah.
very easily, with almost no cost, right? And then within that hub, processed and densified, et cetera, to then make then the value goes up, and now you've got a densified, valuable commodity that can actually sustain itself through the rest of the logistics journey to be go back into manufacturing, et cetera. Right. So if they were like your collapsible boxes, if you take a cube this big and condense it down to that much,
Yeah.
and then thousands of them or whatever on a pallet, now you've got a densified enough valuable product that you can move it. Right. It's really the eat up of the space of the cube that needs to be.
So you think there's opportunity on LTL to centralize and kind of repurpose that space to help
Yeah.
with more like sustainable solutions within the community, like whether
Yeah,
it's
absolutely, I do, because it's a natural hub and spoke that's going anyways, and it needs to be done. And even in the parcel job, right? They're coming out full. They're going back completely empty.
yeah, Yeah.
I mean, how many packages are they picking up that are returns from the homes? Not, I wouldn't think that much. I mean, there might be. I mean, I know that 33% or something like that of e-commerce is returned, but still, if that's true, then they're 66% empty, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I don't. Maybe it's where I live. I don't see a lot of e-commerce pickup at the house. I feel like
No,
the
that's what I'm saying. Is
truck's just
so
driving through and emptying, then going back.
100%. So why couldn't the local UPS terminal or be the location where everybody in the community can actually have their plastics or their waste or their bottles, whatever, go back to for a fee or
Yeah.
whatever, right? Because it's showing up here anyways. So why isn't anyway?
Well, I mean, it's a good question. I mean, I kind of think about the cleanliness because I wonder if these recyclers are actually cleaning their stuff, and that's why
Well, a lot of them
service
don't. I mean,
providers are like,
there's you got to go through. You're right. You got to go through the sortation. You got to go through the
garbage
cleaning.
truck. Yeah,
I agree. I'm just saying I think there's opportunity. There's opportunities all around us in logistics to rethink what we're doing and utilize the things that we're doing right there that are waste. And one of the wastes, the big waste in logistics, as you know, and anybody who's ever smelled diesel or been around it, is empty space. It's a
yeah,
killer in logistics.
yeah.
And if we can utilize that space and those moves for sustainability overall and make money doing it, then there you go.
And I think there's more than just the plastic bottles, right? So if you think about the LTL side going to the businesses, they could be picking up the boxes, the pallets, the plastic wrapping, like all that, and taking it back
100%.
to a
Yep.
facility.
Yep.
Then you don't have to
Easily.
worry about like the cleanliness of somebody rinsing out their milk bottle and smelling like rotten milk. But
No,
I
no, no, I agree with you 100%. The industrial, post-industrial plastic is definitely the opportunity because you're right. It doesn't have the old yogurt in it or whatever.
yeah,
It's plastic. It's the expanded polystyrene, the white hard foam type of things can easily be brought back through a neighborhood network with terminals and densified and moved. So yeah, I agree.
I'd hope they would do something with that. I'd hope that they would actually leverage. What happens to the material if they don't do that? It just goes in the
Goes into a
dumpster?
dumpster and it gets thrown away. Yeah,
Oh, good. But there's solutions for that. Like that waste going into a landfill is not necessary. Like when are we going to run out of landfill space? Like I mean,
pretty soon. There's a lot that are running out of it. I mean, there's a lot of places that are like
how do you do that?
USVI right now is their landfills are 100% full right now in the U.S. Virgin Islands. Done.
What do you do when you don't have anywhere to put waste?
You change the laws to say, well, we can put more in.
I wish they would change the laws to say, hey, you're going to get tax breaks if you actually implement these programs that actually drive more sustainable initiatives. Like
Yeah.
that's what I want to see the government do. I mean, among many other things. But
Yeah. So I had a guest on who was talking about, and I believe they were talking about Seattle. Somebody from Seattle, correct me if I'm wrong, where your waste, you actually got charged by volume of waste from your house.
oh, okay. Then
So recycling was free. Throwing it away cost you money by volume.
but
The exact opposite of everywhere else, where if you want to recycle, it costs you money, but
yep,
if you want to throw it away, it's free.
yep. Hmm. Kind of change the perspective. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Why not?
100%. I mean, it's like, wow,
That would drive change.
ham between the slices of bread. That's how you do it.
That makes a lot of sense. You're right. Like it's $30 for trash and $30 for recycling. So just
Yeah.
trash it.
Yeah,
And
make it $60 for trash and free for recycling, and let's move on. Let's get something going.
I
Um,
agree.
it's been awesome.
Yeah.
Listen, Jenny, I'll give you the last word. What do you want to talk about in your business and marketing, and what people need to know about marketing in logistics and sustainability? Whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Well, I guess I would say, that sustainability is a big theme right now that I don't think a lot of companies are kind of leveraging to communicate their messaging. I think 2024 is about partnerships and identifying partners that can help you build more sustainable operations, to build the ecosystem because transportation logistics is an ecosystem and partnering up with companies that complement your solutions and help drive your message. Like if you're a sustainable solution, partnering with other sustainable solutions to help build that sustainable ecosystem is really important, not only for the world, but for like logistics at a whole. I think that pun, it'll be more sustainable. It'll be more sustainable for your business if you implement sustainability. No. So my name is Jennie Malafarina, CEO of Virago Marketing. You can find me at viragomarketing.com. I love working, partnering with companies in the transportation logistics space to drive social change. Passionate about sustainability, passionate about the industry, welcome conversations. Would love to continue the conversation. If you're doing something, I would love to learn about it because I would love to highlight you and talk to you about what you're doing and how we could support you with that.
I'll call you right after this and let you know what I'm doing.
All right. All right, Michael, call me.
Excellent, Jenny. Thank you so much, and thank you everybody for watching. This is Staniacs, and hey, we'll be back in your face again sometime soon. That's my marketing blurb. We'll be in your face.
We'll be in your face.
Anyways, peace and love, everybody.